So here's another one right here for lease. So this whole thing is for lease down here. Goes all the way down. And these people that say there's no homeless people in Palm Springs, you must not spend any time here. They're everywhere. So the, you know, that once classy town we used to call Palm Springs, this beautiful classy town, nobody can tell me that it's still what it once was. This was a beautiful, beautiful town. Still a nice town, still a pretty town. Not the town it used to be. It's Thursday, May 20th, 2021. My good friend Dan Golka sitting right next to me. We've had an extremely long day, shot a lot of video in the Palm Springs area, Rancho Mirage. Dan came out, kind of wanted to see what was going on in Palm Springs. And Dan, what do you have to say?
It was a very surprising day. I spent a lot of time in the desert as a kid, and it's changed quite a bit. I was here a month ago, and we wanted to see Palm Desert, Palm Springs, and it's changed quite a bit in the last, since the last time I was here about 10, 15 years ago.
So it's more the same old, more vacancies. The trash that was laying on the streets, the homeless people sleeping right on Palm Canyon, right on the sidewalks in front of retailers. It was unbelievable. It's a wake-up call, ladies and gentlemen, and maybe it's good in your area. I hope it is, but in my area, it does not seem to be recovering. Yes, people are coming out to the hotels more. They're going out to eat more, but the hotels are not that busy, and many of the restaurants today that we passed by were closed, many only doing dinner, some gone forever. It's a complete disaster. But as we make this video today, and I'm so glad Dan came out, I don't think there's a more important time to get a side hustle, to make extra money, to be an asset, to learn a skill set.
Absolutely.
And we talked about that last night. Why don't you expand on that?
You know, one thing I do with my business is I deal with consulting businesses to do everything from raising money, getting strategic partners, marketing, and getting more money out of existing businesses, whether it's a one-man band, one-woman show, or a $25 million business. The idea is to get more out of what they already have. And in this economy, the best thing you can do is you can really, there's a lot of ways to make money. And history repeats itself over and over again. And we learned a lot through the Depression. A lot of new industries were created then. They're going to be created now. But now is a great time to start something new. Now is a great time to get something started from the privacy of your own home. There's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of big companies you can work for. Apple, Amazon, all these companies that are looking for people to work directly from home. You don't even have to go to the office. You could get a job doing that. You could, get a print-on-demand business. There's a lot of things that you can do right now, and people need to do that. People need to work on getting as much side money as possible right now.
You may have to reinvent yourself.
Absolutely.
We talked about all these young people going to college, and I listen to Dave Ramsey from now and then, time here and there. And the people that call up, it's very entertaining. And if you want to really know how bad some people have it, the people that call up with $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million of college tuition debt.
$500,000.
And they're making, $48,000 a year with $390,000 of tuition debt. These people are the ultimate debt slaves, and these people call that show on a daily basis. And we were talking, maybe it's better to just get a skill set. Maybe save the $200,000 from college and invest in yourself, get a skill set, because a college degree isn't what it used to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're going to start seeing people, again, you can make a good living. You can work with your hands. You could be in construction. You could have a side hustle. You could be, a consultant. I know, COVID has had a lot of people had to reinvent themselves. I know someone that was a scriptwriter who wrote comedy scripts and literally was locked in her apartment and couldn't work. Nothing's being shot, nothing's being made. So she developed a class on how to write for TV and how to write for movies, and taught it directly from her home. She makes $10,000 to $14,000 a month sitting in her one-bedroom apartment.
Well, we're now in a time where people are reliant on that unemployment check or that unemployment benefit. People now just, we're in a society where people just want to get by. They just want to do the minimum. Now, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a lot of people out there who are just doing the minimum and just getting by. And as we get deeper into this collapse, if you're one of those people who just wants to get by, just do the minimum. Wow, this is
guys, the spigot's about to get shut off on all this money, and that's the one thing I cover is all of the stimulus, funding, grants on my channel. And one thing that's interesting is that I have people that reach out to me from government, from these states that are telling me they're shutting it off early. Now, it's expected that this is going to go through September 4th with the pandemic unemployment, but you're seeing over 20 states right now that have said we're ending it early. I realistically, and I see it ending at the end of June. I really see that more states are going to follow. Alaska just, someone sent this to me today, that they're not going to have pandemic unemployment after that, and it's done. And I was telling JB this story yesterday about a sushi restaurant we went to, where the owner, I said, I haven't been in here in 14 months. I'm so glad to be back. And the guy says, Dan, I can't get anybody to work. We've got to end this unemployment thing here because people will not show up. I will pay them anything to stand right there, to stand right at the front door and be my host or hostess. And think about that. What an easy gig that is. Hi, how are you today? Here's your menu. How many in your party?
Right.
And the guy's probably going to pay you $15 an hour to do that, to work at this nice sushi restaurant, but he can't get anybody to do it. You can sit there and say it's not enough money, whatever. As a second job, working a few hours in the evening, it's crazy that he can get no
And what'll happen is when it gets cut off, there'll be a run to these jobs, and then it's going to be hard to get a job. So, you need to start looking right now. You need to start preparing right now, because when they cut all this off, there's going to be a run to these jobs, and it's going to get hard to probably get one of these jobs when everybody's in the market to get a job. So
yeah, exactly.
But this takes us back to the conundrum that, okay, people are going to be forced back to $10, $12, $15 an hour jobs, and how do they pay the bills, especially with the debt they've acquired over this period of time?
See, here's the thing. And we talked a little bit about this, but the problem with it is when people get in financial difficulty, they want to hit a home run. They want to get themselves out of it immediately. And I use a lot of baseball analogies, but you've got to get a base hit in your life. Whether I'm consulting for your business or for an individual, you've got to get yourself going one step at a time, one hit at a time. And people want to get involved with cryptos. They want to spend $60 and make $250,000.
Hit the home run.
Safe Moon, the P coin, whatever it's going to be. It's crazy, and they think that's what's going to happen, and it's not going to happen. You've got to start and get that one hit at a time. And if you do that, if you get one hit at a time as on a side hustle, you can move your life forward and get yourself out of this. And again, what's this guy? This guy looks, he's doing okay. I had a conference company, guys. I had, and I would hold events that would have 300 people at it, that there is no live events. So we had to reinvent the entire company. I'm on YouTube in the last year as a result of that. There's a lot of things that you can do right now, and you've got to work with your skill set. What are you good at? What do you know about? I don't care if it's crocheting, music, whatever. You could use that to your benefit to make money with a side hustle, without a doubt. I could go on for hours about this.
I want to get into the news because this kind of relates to what we saw today, and a lot of people out there are watching a lot of this and they don't know what to believe. But we got the jobless claims today. They dropped more than expected, so that's the good news. Only 444,000 Americans filed first-time unemployment claims last week. That's the good news because it's lower than expected, but yet that's almost 500,000 people.
Yeah, they were expecting 452 and they got 444, and the stock market's up today. We're supposed to celebrate, everything's fantastic. And it's still preposterous because last week there was another 500,000 people that filed claims as well. So it's bad.
So, we went through some of the hotels, not a lot of people working in them. The Hyatt today, absolutely dead, not a lot of employees. We're at the Renaissance right now. It's a ghost town. There was not even one car up in the valet area at the front doors. It's a ghost town. It's 90 degrees today on a
This place
Thursday.
is beautiful too. This place is really nice.
Gorgeous, but it's so quiet, and the town is so quiet. So a lot of people definitely not going back to work, but they're spending money. So last month we saw retail people still spending money, but the question is now that we're in May, has the stimulus run out? Are people still going to be spending in May? And to me already, from last month to this month, I already see a decrease in people
Absolutely.
at the resorts.
Decrease in the stores, decrease in the resorts. I just, I predicted the stimulus would last 6 weeks, and we're at the end of it right now. So
yeah, I think we're going to see some numbers in May that we're not going to like. But again, if the government is not giving people money, they're not spending it. That means they're not going to go to Vegas. They're not going to come to the Renaissance. They're not going to stay at Palm Springs because they're dependent now on government money, government benefits such as unemployment, the extra $300 benefits. And when all that runs out, how do they get to Vegas? How do they get to Palm Springs? How do they travel?
How about a job?
Right.
One thing that's crazy is that I just did a video on your next stimulus check may come from your state. And there's a couple states already that are giving people stimulus money as incentives. Here in California, $600 to $1,400 you can get. Maryland's doing it, $600. Connecticut just announced a stimulus program, $1,000 if you get a full-time job. And they'll pay you $1,000.
I mean, they're paying you $50 to go to McDonald's for an interview.
Again, but you could have that job at Ted's Fish Fry, who had to close, over a dozen locations because he couldn't get anybody to work there. So again, this is not your dream job, and that's the thing. People sit there. Oh, I don't want to work at a fish fry place. Work there. Work at the sushi place at that guy's place you'd get fed, and you'd get 5 or 6 hours a night as a side gig. You'd have more money in your pocket.
While the stimulus is keeping people at home, it's making countries like China rich. And this article on The Hedge last night, U.S. stimulus has created a boom in China. So as people are being paid to sit at home, not learning a skill, not becoming an asset, but just becoming lazy. And of course, the weed shops that are popping up out here in Coachella Valley, it's incredible.
It's insane how many weed shops and CBD shops.
And look, it's legal, I get it, but people are becoming more and more dependent on pharmaceuticals, more and more dependent on the weed, and they're being paid to sit at home. And this to me just causes a very lazy society, while China is reaping the benefits.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was in Huntington Beach twice this week, and there were dozens and dozens and dozens of tankers, right, that you could see from the water that are just waiting to be unloaded. It's so busy in the port of Los Angeles that the cruise liners have had to pull out, and they're actually unloading those tankers where the cruise liners are normally. So it's insanity, guys. We're not selling them anything. We're buying everything from them. It's nuts.
Another article, half of Americans saw their favorite local store shut down because of the crisis.
More's coming, guys. This is the thing.
I want to ask you that. So we walked literally 3 miles today. We saw, to me, Palm Springs had some vacancies. The backside of the town definitely more beat up than the main Palm Canyon area, but there were vacancies. Not as bad as some areas that we've seen. But the question is, how many of those stores are 10, 11, 12 months behind on rent or lease? And we didn't see many people in the stores.
Yeah, it's gonna, you're gonna see a retail problem and a retail boom, in a negative manner, in that these stores they're gonna have to pay their rent, and they're gonna be closed, and you're gonna have your favorite hair salon, your favorite nail salon, the pizza place that you love so much could be gone soon. So, it's like this sushi restaurant. This guy, I felt really bad for him because he's had to change the whole structure of the restaurant, and he can't get people to work there. But he's got every other table is empty.
And that takes us to this article on The Hedge. Nobody wants to work. Job openings soared a record 8.1 million, smashing. But here's the problem again, though. how are people going to survive on most of these jobs? It is a
It's not-
service
you know what?
sector. Let me finish.
Yeah.
It is a service sector economy, an economy based on consumption. And when we look at the workers here, God bless them, at the Renaissance working, the waiters and waitresses, the people that we saw all day working at restaurants, the people working at the pool. But how is this going to end when everybody is working for the $10, $12, $15 an hour in the service sector industry? The real jobs have left America. They're not coming back. We're not creating real jobs. So yeah, okay, there's a lot of jobs out there. But as soon as I leave my benefits and go to this job where they're going to give me 25 hours, then what?
Well, you may have to work 2 jobs right now and get a side gig and do everything from selling things you don't need on eBay. I mean, you're going to have to be creative right now to get money. It's going to really have to happen. And you can sit there and say we're nuts. It's all going to go back to normal. Mm-hmm. I don't see that happening, guys. I don't see things just all miraculously snapping a finger and going back.
Please comment down below. Dan makes a great point. How in the world does this go back to normal? When we're paying people to stay at home, the other option is to go work for $12. So many businesses are permanently gone. They've been erased. They're gone. They're not coming back. And this is a completely different environment than it was a year ago. And don't forget the debt we've accumulated over this. 39 million households, including most U.S. children, to get up to $3,600 stimulus in monthly payments. So we're going to continue to pay people.
The stimulus and how this is going to get, if you have children 6 and under, you're going to get $3,600, $3,000 if they're over. They're going to give you half your child tax credit if you fall under that income level, starting July 1st through December. Now, again, $300 a kid. So it's a lot of money, but that should be extra money. And think about this. I have a consulting business. Still have the conference business that's all online now. I do YouTube. I have Patreon. I sell all this stuff. I mean, I've got like 5 gigs that I have to do to make everything work right now, and that's how it is. I don't, I enjoy doing it.
You don't have young kids where they're going to send you $300 a month. You don't have that option. So
no, I don't have any of that stuff.
What about the people who have no kids?
I have people that write me and they're upset. That's why. People have reached out. What's the next stimulus? Well, it could be coming from your state, but the states were given $356 billion of money with the latest stimulus package. That money that they were given, they have to disseminate. So they're going to give it in very creative ways. A lot of it's going to be given to individuals, rent assistance and things like that, but you're also going to get actual stimulus checks. But places like Connecticut's like, we're not just going to write people a check, we're going to write you a check if you get a job. And you're going to start to see more and more places do things like that. And if they don't spend the money, it has to be given back to the federal government, which is not something they want to do. These grants and these programs are out there, but and there will be more, but you got to get creative with the jobs and with everything
Going back
else.
to that, who's paying for all this?
We are. You guys are. Your grandchildren that you don't have yet, they're paying for this. So please understand, guys, this is something that, just because you have checks in the checkbook doesn't mean you can write checks, okay? You have to have money in the account. And this country is writing checks on credit that we don't have. We'll just print more money, and it's crazy.
And so now we're beginning to see the effect of this, where it's $4 a gallon gas here, plus lunch is $15. You go to McDonald's and lunch is going to cost you over $10 now.
Yeah.
Just the price of everything is skyrocketing, and people just thought that there was going to be no repercussions to printing money out of thin air, and here we are now. And so as the benefits, CNBC, early loss of extra unemployment benefits leaves families in panic. Well, yeah, you better panic, because
you guys got to get ready for this, because that's coming. Trouble's coming in that sense that they don't. You can sit there and be Democrat, Republican, whatever. The Republicans are saying, end it. This state, the sushi restaurant owner is like, I'm doing everything I can. I'm calling everybody I can to have this end early so that people will work again.
So this article, these families in panic, what is this going to look like this fall or this winter? What does this look like when the moratoriums expire? And they're going to at some point. Maybe they extend it one more time. I don't know. But it's going to come to an end at some point. And when it does, you're going to see real panic, because when people are forced to go back to their $10 and $12 an hour jobs, they've acquired massive debt. The landlords that they owe $6,000, $10,000, $20,000 in back rent to, this should panic a lot of people. People should be very concerned about where this is all
Are
going.
you familiar with Washington, D.C., what's going on there? There's a city councilman in Washington, D.C. that wants to end the rent moratorium, and he wants to give people 15 days notice and let people, landlords, start to have litigation with in regards to evictions. And his feeling is, if you have not gotten rental assistance during this time, you've had plenty of opportunities. You have 15 days to get it. If you don't get it, pay up. Game over. And Mr. Mendelson, he's not messing around. And people are like, you know what, this makes kind of sense. Well, have you applied for rental assistance? Oh, my landlord doesn't want it. Well, you can get it. And that's the other thing, is rental assistance is out there. You can get it in every state right now. And if your landlord is not on board with it, the beauty of it is you can apply for it, and the check is written directly to you for you to pay your rent.
So
hopefully
good,
you'll do that.
So good to know.
Yeah.
This is all about stagflation. The U.S. is walking into the early stages of the fourth turning. Again, what we've been talking about, this is another article on The Hedge. Prices are going to skyrocket, and and the opportunity out there is not going to be there for most people. People are going to earn less money while prices go up. And again, this is the perfect storm we've been talking about, with massive inflation, opportunity inequality, wealth inequality, people's paychecks going down, people's dollar not stretching, and the opportunity out there. That's why right now is the time to figure it out. Be your own asset. Get a skill set. Get back to work.
Get rid of bills that you don't need.
Pay the debt.
Get rid of the car payment that you don't need. Do you have extra cars? Do you have things in your garage that you could sell on eBay or online or whatever, and get rid of it? What else could your business do? What else could you consult with right now? Because this is what I do for people, is that there's always things you can wring out of the towel when it comes to money. And the problem with it is that people have a skill set and a mindset of where they get paid from, and you need to look beyond that.
Too many people, again, just relying on the checks. And many people thought that these checks were going to just show up forever.
And then we were going to go back to normal.
And
guys,
then go back to normal.
With the real estate debacle that we saw today, I mean, it's getting worse, guys. This is not getting better, and you guys got to get ready for this.
So going back to what we started with, don't just sit at home and just want to get by. This is a time to get a side hustle, get a side job, have the garage sale, learn a skill set. Heading into what we're heading into, first off, you do not want debt. You want to get
what
the
are
debt.
You good at?
You want to get the debt paid down or off. Do something that you like, that you're passionate about. Get good at something. You may have to do something you don't like, and that's the truth. We all have had a point in our life where we've had to take a job that we just didn't like, but guess what? Right now, most people are not going to be able to be picky. They're going to have to do something that they may not like doing, but it's a job and it's an income, because there's going to be a lot of people out there that are just going to wait too long, and there's going to be no help. The checks end, you're going to get evicted, and you're going to be in very big trouble.
We saw people today living in their motorhomes and on the street. I mean, it was some pretty sad stuff.
And this is a good time, Stan.
I'm telling you guys, you're going to look back at May of 2021 and say, wow, that was good. But again, be creative. And again, what you're good at, you can make money on. And think about this with your own business. If you have a business, whether you live in a small town, big town, whatever, start a Facebook group. Start a Facebook group and be the owner of that Facebook group for your county, for your city, for your state, for your region, for your industry, whatever industry. If you're a termite guy, start a Facebook group for that, because you'll get other people that want to do that.
Start thinking outside the box. Start doing something. Just doing nothing.
That's free, by the way, to do that too. So you can own that, and you guys would own this, and you own all those owners, people to communicate with, people you can sell your goods and services to also. So there's a lot of things that you can do right now that can get extra revenue and work with your existing customers. And again, those are your biggest cheerleaders. I have a friend that teaches people to pass the California bar exam and reinvented her entire business, but her existing clientele with thousands of lawyers that she's taught to get through the bar exam, those are all of her business now.
Yeah.
She's got a free blog that she writes for it every day on free information on how to study, how to pass the bar exam, but that thing sells her courses. Free advertising.
Yeah, you got to network and don't burn bridges. You never know who you meet. You never know somebody that may give you some opportunity. You don't want to burn bridges. Keep the network positive because you may need a favor. Somebody may need a favor from you. So keep it positive and don't burn bridges because you never know what doors can open through a handshake or a friend of a friend. So keep it positive because
you guys, I do a tremendous amount of work for free. I mean, and I have family members that, why do you do all this work for these people for nothing? It builds my business. During COVID, my email list went up by over 10,000 people during this time by giving things away. I have more things going on right now than I've ever had. And I don't have, the conferences. I would normally attend 40 to 50 conferences a year myself. I would have networking meetings that I would go to 2 or 3 times a week, over 100 a year. And there's none of that. They're all online now. They're not the same, but you've got to work differently, work smart, and you'll be able to do it.
Think outside of the box. You got to get creative. You got to do something. You got to start thinking outside of the box. Too many people are not going to think. They're going to just wait. They're going to do nothing, and they're going to get totally burned here. And as you said last night, we're coming into a time of the haves and have-nots.
Yes, exactly. And here's the thing. People, it's not monetary things. It's not the nice cars. It's people are going to go without food. People are going to go without shelter. People are going to go without electricity. And that's the other thing is that as I talk to these landlords, they're like, Dan, I have been told that if I don't pay the electric bill by the 15th of May, I got to talk to that guy because they were going to shut him off in the city because he couldn't pay the electric bill, couldn't pay the water bill. All these things that are coming up, you're going to see buildings where people don't have water. Then what happens? Who cares if you didn't pay your rent? You have no running water in the building. Mm-hmm. So a lot of bleak times are coming.
Uncertainty is definitely coming, and you need to do everything you can to put yourself in a position, put the odds in your favor to get through these times. And if you're just out gambling on Ponzi scheme cryptos, if you're out taking your government subsidized money to Vegas and gambling it at a poker table, you're going to get what you deserve. This is the time to hunker down and get ready for the worst economic collapse in world history. You don't have to believe that. You can laugh at it, but I can afford to be wrong. You can afford to be wrong, mm-hmm. but can you afford for me or Dan to be right? That's the question you need to ask yourself.
You guys don't pay for ridiculous courses. Don't pay for things like that. You can do all this stuff on your own. And again, what are you good at? What do you know about? I know a girl that cooks and started doing cooking recipes and started selling online cooking recipes and just sells things digitally and makes herself an extra $1,200 a month doing that. What are you good at?